Hello everyone, this is Advanityananda and his virtual online spiritual academy Advaita Yoga Academy. I want today to speak about the suffering and the bliss of the self. So what is the core of suffering? It is to seek identity, fulfillment and happiness in the forms. Although happiness is our true nature, although we are complete, whole, and free by nature, because of ignorance and identification with the body and the mind, we seek what we already are in the external world, in the world of forms. And this includes our body, our physical body. So we seek identity, first of all, in form. That is, we identify with the body, with the physical body, and we perceive ourselves to be the body. This body, me, personality. And this identification is created, it is caused by the element we call ego or egoic self. Then we identify with various external forms and mental forms. In reality, what we call external forms, objects, are mental forms as well. Thoughts, imagination is, of course, mental forms. But what we call objects, they are in reality sensory impressions which create in our mind all these forms we perceive as an external world. In the external world, there are only vibrations, frequencies, vibrational frequencies, which come in us, in our mind, through the five senses. And our mind creates all these forms we see as an external reality. And the factor we call ego, which is the core of the mind, creates causes, identifications. First of all, makes us identify with the physical form, and we feel that we are a body, me, person. And then we identify with various mental structures, like I am, which may be related to the body, or other things external to us. For example, we can identify with the mental structure, I'm tall, I'm beautiful. Tall is something that has to do with the body. Beautifulness, the body can appear beautiful or seems to be beautiful or ugly. So if I identify with this beautifulness of the body, I'm beautiful. If I identify with the mental capacity, I am intelligent. Intelligence is something, a capacity of the mind, and the mind belongs to this physical entity. So I, as a body, me person, I'm intelligent. So I identify with the form, physical form, and the mental form, a capacity of the mind. Or I'm fearful, identify with an emotional structure, form, fear. We identify with external forms, like our country, which is also a mental form. So I am a Greek man, and since Greek has a very great tradition, many philosophers of the past have born in Greece, so I feel very proud. I identify with this mental structure that Greece is one of the most important countries or nations in this planet Earth. So I'm very important, me as well, because I identify with this mental structure. So although we are consciousness, formless consciousness, our true identity is consciousness due to ignorance and due to the elements we call rajas and tamas gunas, and the ego who identify with the form. And this is one of the causes of suffering, because the body is vulnerable. So we feel vulnerable. We can die anytime. We can become sick, the body, but since we identify with the body, we feel that we will become sick. Then, if we identify with proud and specialness, then I need the recognition of others. And if others have a bad idea, bad image for me, then I lose my reputation and I feel not worthy. So I suffer. I become angry or upset or I don't know what. Secondly, this suffering has to do with our identity. Secondly, our suffering has to do with happiness. We depend our happiness on external forms as well, and especially with pleasant and pleasurable experiences. We seek happiness through the experience of certain objects that give us a pleasurable or pleasant experience. But we cannot find happiness on pleasures and pleasant experiences. We cannot find happiness on objects, in objects. It is impossible because they have not happiness. Happiness is only our true nature. Our divine essence is happiness itself. So by seeking happiness in the objects or external sensory experiences, at the end we experience sorrow and we become frustrated. And thirdly, we seek fulfillment in the forms. We think that we will be fulfilled if we have a lot of money, if we find a woman, if we have a position, very well recognized position like prime minister, famous player, football player, tennis player, or a president of an organization, or a famous actor, actress, musician, anything, can be anything. And by seeking fulfillment on these external means, situations, objects, experiences, we also we end to frustration and sorrow and misery, because many things can prevent us from fulfilling this desire, and if we can get this desire, to fulfill this desire, then we, after some time, we will realize that we cannot, we have not found the happiness or the fulfillment we thought in the beginning. Okay, when a desire is fulfilled, for some time we feel accelerated, our mind, and some kind of joy and happiness. But this fades out very soon, and we return to the same state of psychological state and state of consciousness. The only way to freedom, peace, fulfillment, and real happiness is to connect consciously with our essential nature, which is consciousness, formless existence, timeless, formless existence, which is also consciousness and Ananda in Sanskrit. Ananda means blissful existence, not only existence, it is blissful existence. This is our essential nature and our real true identity. We are not an entity. We are consciousness, formless consciousness, which is not an entity because it has not a form. And because it's formless, we easily identify with the form. And because this happens because of rajas and tamas gunas. And the factor we call element, we call factor or element, we call ego. And the ego is something limited and does not have any element of happiness in it. There is no happiness in this body. This body is only blood, skin, muscles, and basically is water, fire, earth, air, and akasha, ether. And these are only elements. They have not happiness. Okay, happiness can exist also at the level of mind on our psyche, our psychological vehicles when they are pure and luminous. When sattva prevails in our mind and heart and energy, then we experience at the psychological level happiness, joyfulness as well. But there is a superior happiness than this sattva happiness. It is the bliss of the self. We call it bliss because it is unconditioned, unlimited happiness, which is of the nature of deep peace and freedom and plenitude. We feel whole and free. But this that means that we as an ego, we feel free. Because our identity is freedom itself. When the ego, our ego disappears, when that means our mind becomes totally calm, and our emotional mind and thinking mind become totally calm, serene, and all thoughts, emotions subside, settle down totally, and our ego as well subsides, then it is experienced by no one bliss, peace, freedom without limits. And this is free. It is always present here and now in the timeless now. And there is no needed any external condition to experience peace, bliss, and plenitude. The only condition is needed is our mind to be calm, serene, our mind in emotional, mental levels, intellect as well, and the ego as well, to become tranquil, serene. Then, when the mind becomes still, then we transcend what we say, this is called, we transcend our mind and connect consciously with our essential nature, which is peace, plenitude, bliss itself, is the personification, we would say, of peace, bliss, freedom, and bliss itself. So in the realm of forms does not exist any happiness. Happiness can be experienced by a sattvic, pure, luminous sattvic mind. And when this mind is connected with this essential divine nature of ours, we experience the plenitude, peace, freedom, and bliss divine. And this is free, here and now. It's always, they are all this, this is an homogeneous experience. Peace, bliss, plenitude, freedom is an homogeneous experience. Wholeness, indescribable. Freedom and peace, there are not two different experiences in us when we experience our divine nature. It's one. But in order to communicate what we experience, I say freedom, peace, bliss. It's an homogeneous experience beyond description, words, any mental structure. And this is free. It is always present, this innate happiness. And it is the only real happiness, timeless, never ends, everlasting. eternal, timeless freedom and peace. And we don't need any object of this illusory world of sense, which is in reality sensory world, the world of senses. We do not need anything outside us to experience plenitude, fulfillment, and happiness. We are happiness, not we as the body, me, personal identity. We as the formless, spaceless, timeless consciousness, we are happiness itself. And this happiness or bliss, more precisely, can be experienced when our mind becomes introverted, calm, still, and consciously fuses, it's better to say, abides consciously, fuses in consciousness, which is its essence. The essence of mind is consciousness. And when mind loses itself in consciousness, there is an experience of bliss and peace and plenitude. This is your essence. This is your source. This is your destiny. This is what you really are, here and now. Although you do not realize that you are consciousness and you perceive yourselves as this body, mind, me, although you live in identification with the body, you are already consciousness, appearing as this body, mind, me entity. But you have the opportunity to experience your essential nature, which is always here and now, present, free, blissful, and blissful. So, if you continue seeking fulfillment and happiness and identity in the forms, you have to suffer more. You cannot avoid suffering or misery or sorrow, any kind of pain, from the very little one, the smallest one, until the greatest one. Depending on the situation, many factors, many conditions can create a very small or little pain or a great pain, which we call suffering or sorrow. Identification with the forms, first of all with the physical form, and seeking fulfillment, happiness, and identity in the forms, it is the central, fundamental, cause of suffering. And the only way to freedom, peace, and wholeness is to return to our eternal home, which is empty space of consciousness, formless space of consciousness, and existence without limits. And this formless existence and consciousness is always present here and now as the timeless now. It is, consciousness is the timeless now. And we are that. Namaste. I wish you peace, love, and light in your life, and realize that you are consciousness itself. You are an embodiment of peace, plenitude, and bliss. Namaste.